My pick of the week was the 2023 film The Flash. This is a film about The Flash, the DC, I almost said Marvel, superhero. You know, I connected the synapse in my brain there because he's in the same universe as Batman, and Batman's definitely not Marvel. Anyways, The Flash goes back in time to attempt to stop his mother from being murdered, and then they get sidetracked and stop the world being destroyed by some fucking alien guy in some other movie.
Fun fact. Michael Keaton at 71 years old is the oldest actor to ever portray Batman in a live action film.
Holy smokes.
I like when he said, I'm Batman.
Yeah.
No Adam West, shake my head.
Adam West was in this.
I don't remember what Adam West looks like.
Tanner, I'm just so fascinated. What is your rank for this film?
I'm at an F+.
Holy shit. Jesus Christ. That's so much lower than I thought it was going to be. Oh my gosh.
That's pretty insane. Funny. Dylan, do you want to bring us down to earth a little bit more?
Dude, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to rank this. I currently have it at a B-, but that sounds too high.
Perhaps.
I'm kind of tossing in between. Like, I don't like this movie. And honestly, the more I've thought about it, the more it's dragged down for me. I'm like in between D+ and C- right now.
I'm in the exact same boat as you are. I would like to give it the lower of the two, though, with the D+.
Yeah, every time I try to think about it, I'm just like, wow, no, what the fuck are you talking about? We all saw the last 30 minutes of this movie.
It did get so... oh my god, this...
Do you guys mind if I go off real quick?
Dude,
please, pop off, King.
So, this movie invoked a lot of the same feelings in me as Jurassic Park Dominion. in just how dog shit of a continuation of like a franchise I love it is. So the big thing with this one is it is an adaptation of the Flashpoint Paradox storyline, and it's a bad one. And I think in the same way that with Jurassic Park Dominion, I used the Lou Dobson decision they made to sort of exemplify all the problems with this one. There's one decision in this movie that to me exemplifies what's so bad about it, and that is the decision to make Michael Keaton Bruce Wayne. In the original Flashpoint Paradox series, when the Flash changes the timeline, it makes it so that Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne's father, is the one who survives and becomes Batman.
Dude, I literally brought that up as we were watching the movie. When Batman appeared, I was like, oh, it's going to be Thomas Wayne. That's fun, at least. And then, no, it was Bruce Wayne. I was very confused by that.
It's not. And it's not just, like, part of it is, like, it being Thomas Wayne is, like, a cool twist for the story in the original thing. But also, like, it has a point where it's the Flash going, oh, my friend doesn't exist now. And then B, there's a moment at the end of the story where the Flash is like, oh man, I don't know if I should, reset things because I'll lose my mom. And then Thomas Wayne says to him, well, as a parent, I know that I would do anything to bring my child back. And that gives him a push to like reset the timeline and whatever. And they just change it not only for no reason, but, like, it makes the story worse because you don't have those emotional moments there. And it also doesn't make any sense because Michael Keaton is already, like, 20 years older than George Clooney. So why can't he just be Thomas Wayne?
That's what I was about to say in that conclusion, is, like, he already is older and they, like, define that in the plot of the movie. Why didn't they just make him... That makes it more confusing with your explanation, actually.
It just doesn't make any sense. And I don't know if this has anything to do with it. We're using, in this movie, Zack Snyder's Batman. And one of the big differences in the original story between Bruce and Thomas is that Thomas Wayne is totally cool with guns. But since we're using Zack Snyder's Batman, he already uses guns. And so I don't know if a writer was just like, well, since the gun thing won't be different, I guess there's no point in changing it in the first place. Which is stupid and doesn't make any sense. It's just, that's the point I'm making. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you choose to change that like that? And I think that's just the case with so much of this movie. It's just, it baffles me. I don't know why they're doing so much of this. Like, and the biggest problems, I'd say, are the effects. This movie is... I suppose it is not technically bad, but
I would go as far as to say it's fucking ugly.
I would say, maybe I would say it's technically... You're in the uncanny valley the whole thing. Nothing looks real or has any weight to it because you're just like, this is fake. And it's so obviously fake that I can't suspend my disbelief. I think there's a couple of decent... I think there are action moments that almost get me into it, but like over the course of a whole action scene, it's not grabbing me at all. Like one example is the scene where at the very beginning when Batman is latched onto the back of that like armored car and he's like zipping around the highway and doing stuff, and I'm like, okay, this scene actually feels kind of cool, kind of action-packed with Batman doing all these maneuvers and whatever. But you have this giant, ugly CGI cape flapping in my face that looks terrible. And it is just taking any impact out of the action of this scene because I'm like... My vision is filled with this bad CGI cape for some reason. And yeah, so, I mean, yeah, they butchered the story. They butcher a lot of the characters. It's just bad decisions on top of bad decisions. And it looks bad, and the action is bad. And it's a bad movie.
Honestly, what's fucked up about this movie is, it's about the Flash, and unfortunately, some of the action scenes were good. I think some of them were pretty solid. Unfortunately, it was only the ones involving the Batman. I did not like a single action scene focused specifically on Flash as a character. Batman was cool. Especially like old Batman was doing some cool ass shit. But that was it for the action, honestly. The rest of it just looks fucking bad, like you guys said. This is a horrendous movie to look at. It's just so rough. Like, his running is fucking crazy. The CG in a production like this is so noticeable in dog shit. It's actually absurd. And the entire movie's fucking CG. Like, especially like the final scene, like the whole final fight, just looks like a video game. It looks genuinely terrible. And there's plenty of other scenes like that too. Every time they go into the time loop bullshit, oh my fucking God, I was just like mouth agape. The baby scene, what the fuck is this? It's crazy. It doesn't make any sense that a movie of this budget and scale could get this level of treatment. Nico brings up, like, if you can't do something good, why do it at all? Maybe you're onto something with this one. You've convinced me.
Just find an alternative that you can do well, and it's within your means.
Yeah. Something you mentioned just now, Jackson, is him running, and like, they literally make a joke out of it when he loses his powers and he's doing the goofy run. I'm like, okay, so you guys are aware he looks fucking retarded. Why are you doing it then? Why are you having him run like this?
I was gonna say, why...
It's like he's ice skating.
I was gonna say, I remember at the beginning of the movie, I was like, oh, maybe this is like a one-time thing at the beginning of the movie. And then he kept doing it. I'm like, why did they make him run like a fucking dork in this movie? Why can't they just have him do the famous Flash run? Like, what's so wrong with that?
I can almost guarantee it's because it was like some bullshit where movies, like modern movies, love to do this, where they take the fun out of things and they go and consult scientists and they're like, if somebody was actually running this fast, what would their body position need to look like for them to actually achieve these speeds? And they're like, oh, they'd have to look like this. So they make him do that to like make it make more scientific sense. This is, of course, me pulling this out of my ass. Like,
fucking Neil deGrasse Tyson just said, well, you would need to be skating because if you make constant foot contact, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, or some shit, destroy the ground. But yeah, no, I assume it's probably some dumb shit like that.
Yeah. There was a decent amount of cope around this film regarding the CGI, where people, I think it was actually fucking Zack Snyder, whoever the fuck directed this film, came out and said, oh yeah, so the reason things may look a little odd to you is because we're actually seeing it from the Flash's perspective when he's in the Speed Force. And it's like,
I remember
most of the time that's not when you're seeing this shit.
Yeah. No, it was directed by, like, someone no one's ever heard of.
Yeah. I just don't know. It's very strange.
Yeah.
Tanner, I got a question.
Yeah, what's your question?
When was Nicolas Cage Superman?
He never was. It's a reference to there was, like, very briefly plans to make a Superman film with Nick Cage. And here's the thing about that. I believe that they purposely put out the rumor that he once was considered in preparation for this movie. I don't know if that was a public knowledge thing before this film.
Oh.
So they literally, like, they invented a niche reference for themselves to make in the movie.
That's fun.
That sounds retarded.
It is.
Oh, okay.
It is. Why in that scene are, like, these alternate characters, like, bluish? Why are they glowing blue? I assume it's because when they did the 3D recreation of Christopher Reeves, it had to look bluish, and so they just made the other guys look bluish or something.
I guess so.
I don't know. Baffling. Fucking baffling. Why?
There are a lot of questions you can ask regarding the visuals, but as far as like the story is concerned, though, I mean, just the time travel. Let's get to the time travel real quick. I criticize Jackson for his hatred for the idea of time travel, but in this movie, like, they keep going back in time during the big fight. Why are there not additional flashes there? Why do they not keep additional flashes?
There are supposed to be more flashes, according to the rules of this movie.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say, is technically when they did it the first time during the battlefield scene, they did, and when they popped out, there were the original two of them standing there when they, like, clicked heels or whatever the fuck they did, and then they went out and did shit. So I was like, oh, so now they're just gonna continue to infinitely make copies.
I don't think that was the original to them. I think that was just them doing that move again.
Was it? I'm pretty sure it was, like, two different sets of flashes there.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna go double check that. That sounds like...
I mean, I don't know how you double check that. I'm pretty sure that was just them doing that specific move again. And we don't at any other point see, like, their old selves in those scenes.
Yeah.
Regardless of, like, what happened, I think we can come to the conclusion that they just straight up didn't follow their own rules of time travel.
Right.
No, they absolutely didn't. Which is very strange.
Mm-hmm.
And also, why does Batman know so much about time travel and, like, alternate universes?
Because he's really smart and has a lot of money or some shit.
Dude, because he's Batman.
Yeah.
He had prep time.
And also, at one point, when the new Barry keeps, like, going back and doing, like, his fucking bullshit, we see him get fucking killed by Zod. But then he just shows up again.
No, I don't think he gets killed. I think at that point
he gets,
fucking,
like, his fucking neck snapped by him.
No, I think he phased through his hand or something.
Who knows? There's all kind. Why does... I mean, I know the explanation they want us to believe is, like, even though he has, you know, these thousands of metal shards phased into his body, he just heals so quickly that's not a problem. But, like, that's bullshit and stupid.
Yeah.
Also, like, let's just talk about the Flash's powers at all. So, you know, we saw this guy run across the fucking face of the continent in the blink of an eye, and you're telling me he has any difficulties in combat? Like, it's so inconsistent, the speeds he can go. And, like, I just want, like, that's honestly the biggest problem with this movie, is just everything is so insanely inconsistent. Especially, like, with his powers, it really should not be an issue of people catching him in the middle of his thing, or, like, him having problems dodging things when he's running. Like, we've seen him book it, for lack of a better word, and then other scenes, it looks like he's, like, maybe, like, running 2 times faster than other things. Like, it's so fucking... Like, he should be mopping the floor with everything here. It doesn't make any sense. It's very stupid.
Yeah, the Flash, I think, canonically is the fastest superhero in the DC universe, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah, like, the whole fight against Zod is so dumb for that reason. Like, I don't know how he keeps catching him out. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Personally, I'm fine with that just because Kryptonians are also super speed, not as fast as the Flash, but, like, fast enough that if they are able to anticipate his movements, they can catch him out. And, like, these are, like, warriors, and, you know, the Flash is just some kid. So, like, that, for me, that didn't trip me up too bad.
But see, that's
for me,
like
with my
the
lack
big...
of context, it did.
That's like the big problem with, like, superpower movies or whatever you want to call it, is, like, sometimes you just have to nerf whatever's happening just so it makes sense for the plot, but unfortunately...
I mean, that's just, like, comics in general, though.
Yeah, like, there are so many variations of superheroes. Like, there are some, like, universes where the Flash is super powerful. I mean, this goes for any superhero, quite frankly, but, like... Yeah, I don't like the varying power levels that occur. Also, I'm looking... One thing I forgot to bring up that I'm realizing now, why the hell are all the fucking Kryptonians besides, like, Supergirl are they CGI? I feel like all the Kryptonians are CGI, and it's really fucking weird.
I mean, their suits are at the very least.
Yeah. Zod's face looks CGI, dude.
Yeah.
There's nothing about him that makes him...
It's CGI because it's, like, projected onto the front of that helmet for some reason. Yeah. Oh, it's because he's fucking old now, and they wanted to make him look like he does in Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they did the whole Star Wars thing. That's very funny.
Also, I fucking hate this version of Zod, as I've stated previously, so that's also fucking stupid. Let me real quick say one other positive I have for this movie.
Supergirl is really hot.
Sure. I do think that the character arc for our berries actually kind of works for me.
Yeah.
My big problem is that this version of Barry is insanely unlikable, and I fucking hate every time he opens his mouth.
I don't like the whole thing where say there's an original, or there's a character that acquires a power of the character we're currently watching, and they're like, you can't do that yet, it took me this long to do this, and then the new character just immediately does it. Oh no, 100%, sorry to go out of a random tangent, they 100% had copies when they came out of that first time thing.
So where were they the next times?
Yeah,
that's what the amount of times he's apparently been doing this for God knows how long.
I was gonna say, so they immediately went against their own fucking rule, but then also they were about to follow it. I'll see if I can nab a screenshot to send it to you guys. But regardless,
they had an extra 2 hours of footage cut out of this movie.
But regardless, I'm sure the trope doesn't matter, but I hate when that happens, when they're like, oh, it took me this long to do this, and then the new character just does it immediately because plot needs to happen, I guess, or whatever the fuck. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I had no clue what to rate this movie, but after discussing it with you guys, I don't. I think some of the visuals are cool to look at. I think if you're looking at this as a not live-action movie, I think it's pretty cool, but unfortunately it's so CGI it might as well have not been a live action movie. And it also doesn't help that The Flash is like my favorite DC character outside of Shazam, so...
I mean, that should affect it, because this movie's not good, and you should be mad that it besmirches your favorite character.
It does, trust me. I'm not saying it doesn't.
Okay, so looking at this screenshot, yes, you're absolutely right, which just makes it that much worse, because now it's even more why is he not succeeding? He hypothetically has hundreds of years of versions of himself all at this same battle. Why is he losing still?
Because time travel bullshit. This is Jackson's exact argument.
I hate time travel, I hate time travel, I hate time travel.
It's very badly done here.
At best, it's like minor, not even, depending on how they play, time travel is at best minor plot holes but, you know, if they try to explain any amount of time travel, it always ends up being massive, major plot holes. Mm-hmm. And I've yet to find a movie that has time travel that doesn't fall into this. I would love, please, audience, if you're listening to this for some reason and you know a time travel movie that isn't dog shit, please let me know. I would like to be proven wrong.
My philosophy is, as long as the movie is good, then you can just ignore it. Don't worry about it.
The problem is The Flash uses time travel and the multiverse. It's doing both of them at the same time, and why do they do the multiverse? It's not really relevant.
They do them. I mean, I know this was a rhetorical question.
I almost think they just want to show us a bunch of old versions of characters.
Well, what I think's funny is
from good movies, and then we could be, hey, look, it's that character again.
Tanner, please choose a time to stop.
Maybe I like this one. Maybe I like this movie because the character from the movie I do like is now in this movie.
I like that Batman's in this movie. I appreciate that about it.
I like Michael Keaton.
In the marketing for this movie, it's just nothing but Batman, by the way. They did not want to show the Flash because Ezra Miller is kind of a fucking psycho.
Oh, yeah.
What did he do?
He punched a lot of women.
Oh, that's right. I remember the stipulations around this movie now. I was gonna watch it, and then I heard that shit.
I like the way he uses the word stipulations. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. I couldn't think of another word, and I wanted to use a fancy, longer word. Dude, another random tangent. Why the fuck does he do a goofy-ass pose before he starts running? The Flash doesn't need to do that shit.
Dude, it's so quirky, though, you know?
Speaking of quirky, the dialogue in this movie, oh boy. All right, Barbie, let's go party? Hilarious.
Doesn't he just literally say, "Did that just freaking happen?"
Yeah, I think he does literally say some shit like that.
Oh my god.
This movie is very unfunny, bafflingly so.
Rest
It's
in peace,
so
my
bad,
goat.
dude. It's so bad.
Perhaps D+ is too charitable.
I mean, you know where I stand on this.
You have a very, like, deep-seated reason to hate this, though, Tanner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can drop it that low, and be honest. Like, I'm gonna lower it. I just don't know if I could get down to your guys'.
Are we done talking about? I'm done.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
good.
want to talk about this movie anymore. I'm sticking with my F+, obviously.
I think after all this discussion, I can bump it down to a D. Supergirl is doing a lot of heavy lifting in this film for me.
She is Supergirl, after all.
I think I'm going to stick at a D+ myself. I was looking at some of the things I have in D, and I don't think it's quite of that quality. Like, for all the shit we've talked about it, at the end of the day, it is a pretty serviceable superhero movie on the surface, and, you know, it's entertaining at times. It's got some interesting things at times, but yeah, most of the time it's pretty bad, which is why it lands at a D+.
The same tier as Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Jesus.
Yeah.
He keeps bringing it back. Yeah, I'm gonna drop it for sure. I'll give it a C-.
Whoa.
Yeah, a big reason why I'm not dropping it more, too, is mostly because, like, as I was watching it, I was like, this is pretty, like, whatever. And I don't think that's really changed a crazy amount for me. Anyways, that landed at a D overall.
Fair enough, I guess.